I am going to conduct this presentation on financial planning and wealth creation for Indian Armed Forces officers. Primarily, this presentation is meant for people who are in the age bracket of about 35 to 40. Why I'm saying 35 to 40? Because I'm going to conduct separate presentations for people, for officers who are about to retire or just retired. That is on Tuesday. And I'm conducting another one on Saturday for the younger lot, that is 35 and below. Okay. So this is, I start with the presentation per se. Some important aspects of this presentation. Your video and audio is off. Please do not try to put it on. All those who've already put it on, please put it off. Second, you have a chat button at the bottom. If you see on the right side of your screen, there's a chat button on the bottom, and you can type into the interact there with me. I can see it, though I may not interrupt my my presentation per se. But you can send in your queries. You can see. You can send in your questions or something. Though I'll be taking it on at the end. Your questions can be typed in the same chat. Request you not to speak out your question, since I said there are lots of officers who are attending this presentation. Now, another important aspect, this webinar, I'm just repeating this, is primarily for officers in the age range of 35 to 50 years. All officers who are planning to attend any of the following two webinars, they may not attend this webinar. They can check out from this meeting room, because there'll be a duplication of about 35%. 1/3 of this webinar will be duplicated in the others as far as concepts and the way you go about things. Some of those things will definitely be repeated, because after all, it is financial planning. So things may not be, but there's no very much of exclusivity there. Retirement webinar is on Tuesday, where I will deal only with the retirement aspects. That is on Tuesday in the evening at 6:30. And then for the people who are just starting their financial life, the webinar will be starting with financial life webinar on Saturday at 6:30. I'm keeping it in the evening on working days, assuming that some people might be going to the office, and some they may or may not be able to attend if I do it during the day. Yeah. Just 1 minute. Huh? Okay. Right. Now we start with the too many people who are coming in very late and getting this pop up all the time. Right. If I were to say, how have you been managing your money in the past? Do you somewhere feel that you should go back in time, start all over again? If there was a time machine and you could go back, would you like to go back and start all over again and change the way you managed your money so far? Do you feel like that? Or if I were to ask you, what's your financial dream? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line. Have you thought about it in this manner? Have you ever thought, what is your financial life going to be about 10 years later? No? Time to do so. Are you ready to transform yourself financially? Today, please remember, today is future's past. The way lots of us feel, if we could go back in time and change the way what we did, same way, today is also the future's past. Would we in the future also think, if I could go back and change the way I've done things? Then please go through the points that I'll be giving out. You can make your notes clearly. You will find, I'm very sure, you will find things which you can apply to your life. So the theme for my talk today is financial freedom forever. This is me. I am ex-NDA, June 83. Most of the people who are attending this webinar, they know me. I am from EME, and these have been my credentials, Fauji credentials. I'm a SEBI registered financial advisor. There are about 1,200 of us in India. And I'm also a CFP, certified financial planner, which is a certification mark and it is the highest personal financial management qualification in the world. I don't know how many of you have seen my articles, which keep coming in various publications. Right. This was my glory day in 2017. I was chosen to be one of the 14 veterans who were on the Army Day Parade and Republic Day Parade tableau. So this is something that I feel really, really great about it. I don't know who put it there, but the fact is that I was there. Okay. My company as such, it was incorporated in April 2010. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah. So it was incorporated in 2010, and 5 years later onwards, we've been getting a lot of awards. Last year, we got the CNBC TV 18 award for being at the 10th Financial Advisory Forum in Delhi. We were awarded as one of the top 5 financial planning companies in North India last year, and the NSE National Stock Exchange awarded us as the best performing financial planning company in the country, in North India, last year in November. Right. Now, coming on to the presentation per se, if I were to ask you, what are the money related questions? Oh, sorry, there is a waiting room that is constantly troubling me. I think I did a mistake by putting it on waiting room. I don't know how to close the entries. So are these the kind of money related questions that you frequently ask yourself? How much money to put in the DSOP? How much to put in bank FDs, recurring deposits? This kind of discussion has become more common nowadays when everybody is running risk averse. Is life insurance a good investment? The life insurance agents keep coming to us and say that you can get this kind of returns. You also get insurance you get a lot of insurance, life insurance also. You get good investments also. So it is best of everything. Is it a good is it a good investment? These are the kind of questions we'll answer. Should I be keeping my money safe and avoiding stocks or equity mutual funds with my money? Should it not be so? Why not? Should I invest in property when it is so cheap? For the past 7 years, property has gone nowhere. If that be so, is it a very good time to invest now? And with this weakness that has come in the economy, doesn't property become an even better thing to go in for? Should I buy gold now? You see, gold is going up, and people are saying that gold goes up when there is nervousness in the world, when everything else is falling, then gold goes up. So should I buy it? These are the questions that most of the people ask. Do you ask yourself these questions frequently? If I were to ask you, what are your major concerns now? What would you say? Would you say, first and most important priority is safety of my money? Priority 2, getting good returns of investment. Priority 3, and have the money available when I want it. Would you say that? If your answer to those questions and the priorities are the way that I have written out, then I would say something. Probably you're asking the wrong questions, and when I asked you to lay down the priorities, they probably were not the correct priorities. Why do I say that? Because to my mind, your major concern should be meeting your requirements and responsibilities of life. If you are able to meet your major requirements of life, your responsibilities of life, well, that is the basic purpose of the money, right? Second priority should be maintaining a high standard of living for yourself, for your family throughout the lifetime. If you can do that, what else do you need? But please remember, never ever confuse assets with lifestyle living. Now, what does this mean? Many of you might have guessed what it means. For some of you, these words may be one and the same thing. Okay, I give you a scenario, right? You go to a village, you go to the farms, you found the big farmland, and there is a small farm hut. There is a Tau who's sitting on his charpai there. When you ask him, Tau, how much land do you have? Beta, jo sara dikh raha hai, that is my land, right? He's got huge assets, no doubt about it. What do you say about the lifestyle? Is it the kind of lifestyle that you want? He has assets which he'll never sell. Similarly, there are people who have large number of houses. They give, those houses give them small returns, small, very small rent also. But is it able to supplement their lifestyle in a major way compared to the amount of money that they have put in that asset? So if you have large number of assets, it does not translate into lifestyle. Lifestyle comes from the amount of money that you have with you, the liquid money that you have. If you don't have liquid money, there's no lifestyle. I'll give you one small example in this. For those who are serving, or for those who were in the Fauji, you had your DSSC, you had your FDs. Whenever you wanted some money, let's say you wanted to go on a great vacations, or you had some requirement for education for your child, where did you take out the money from? Did you sell half your bedroom? It's a stupid thought, but did you sell half a bedroom of your house, of your spare house, or your second or third or fourth house? Or did you, whatever such kind of fixed assets you have, did you sell half your office? No, you didn't. Took out money from DSO. You broke and took out your money. If you had stocks or mutual funds, you sold a part of them and took out the money. So you see, wherever you had liquidity easily available, that liquidity was taken out and it contributed to your requirement, your lifestyle. That is what is my lifestyle. It is not assets, right? Okay. Priority 3. How should your investments beat the inflation, be tax efficient, and not lose their purchasing power? So your first priority should be meeting your requirements. Second is to maintain a high standard of living. And third is these tactical aspects of beating inflation, tax efficiency, money not losing purchasing power, etc. So these should be the major concerns that you should have. What could be your future requirements? Higher education for children, for those who are in the higher age bracket, that could be the most important thing that you have. Their marriages, own house, purchase of own house if you don't have it, or if you have a house but that is slightly falling short of your requirement, then purchasing another house, its renovation, furnishing, good domestic vacations. Of course, for the next 1 year, vacations are all out, but whatever it be, vacations are an intrinsic part of a good lifestyle. Purchasing a new car, new bike, and changing it every 8 to 10 years, definitely, right? Pursuing own passions. There are many passions. Some people say, oh, I want to construct a school in my village, or I want to do a lot of charity, or buying some goods, gadgets, which contribute to your lifestyle, helping a relative. Lots of people have requirements wherein they want to help some of their relatives for marriage, or could be anything else. Yeah. So the aim of this presentation is to make you aware how to go about your financial life, what's good and not so good for you, how to get back on track if you feel that it seems to be slipping out, it seems to be withering away, why concept of financial planning will be great for you. And finally, making your money work hard after you've earned it will make all the difference. Now, what is the meaning of this last line? Making your money work hard after you've earned it. lots of officers come to our office. I interact with plenty of them. What do they ask me? They are very much bothered about their tax. Tax means they say, oh, I'm earning this much, but such a big part of my money is going on tax. I ask them one simple question. Do you have any control over it? See, what you're going to earn is fixed. You can't earn much more than that. If you're in Fauji, definitely not. Even if you are in civil, unless you change the job or do something really big, you get a much better pay package, right? So what you earn is almost fixed. What you can save as tax is absolutely limited. You can't do much about it. ATC, maybe some on home loan, maybe some on education loan. That's all. Nothing else.
Choti.
The tax that you have to give on that is also fixed. There are rules. You have to give the tax as per. There's nothing much that you can save there in tax.
Oh, yeah.
What you earn is. I'll request somebody who's talking to please mute yourself and your video. Thank you. So what you can earn, what you get taxed for is absolutely fixed. You can't do anything about it. But what is remaining after that is yours. The way you spend it, the way you save from it, the way you invest from it is absolutely up to you. However, what happens every time? We are much bothered about what we are earning. We are much bothered about what tax we can or we cannot save, but we are not much bothered about what to do with the money once it has been earned. So what happens? It lies in the savings bank account. Savings bank account earns you not 4%. It doesn't earn you 4% anymore. It doesn't earn you 3% anymore. It earns you 2.75% today, taxable. So what do you get? So if the money after earning is lying and earning 2.75, that too taxable, it doesn't matter how much are you earning or how much are you saving, right? So please take care of this aspect, that you make your money work hard after you earned it. I'll say a story, right? The story is of a bubbling young man, Arun Kumar, who got commissioned. Enriching life of a newly commissioned officer. First few years, great unit life, adventure courses, whatever we all go through. Basically, a good guy, a very friendly guy. Official parties, drunk parties, everything what we all do, and of course, yes, marriage also, followed by 2 children, boy Ishan and girl Diksha. Money seemed adequate. There didn't seem to be any problem whatsoever. They had a car, vacations, outings, eating out, all that we all do, right? Life seemed very good. He was told in the Fauji, max your DSOP. And if you have something left, go in for safe bank FDs. He bought LIC policy and the erstwhile means erstwhile PLI, postal life insurance policies. George Alexander, sir, I'll request you to mute your video and audio, please. When he was in war college, when he was in unit, staff, command, and some of these policies of LIC, insurance policies, were also through DSOP. Let me tell you, having a policy through DSOP is not a very good thing to have. Okay. Did one good thing, booked the AW at your house at about 12 years of service and took a maximum of loan from AGIF just because. Again booked another house and again took a large loan on it. Also took car loan, PC loan, everything that was there. He couldn't take bike loan because it was not allowed. Otherwise, he would have taken that also because he felt this is easy money. Just have to pay it back in small installments. He also dabbled in stocks. Some gains, more losses, decided to forget about it. He said, this is not something which is for me. And he said, I'll never look at them again. But still, lived a rich life. Yeah. Now, slightly tough part starts. Ishan, his brilliant boy, goes to 12th class. Couldn't get through IIT, but as it happens in India, you can't get through IIT, but you can get through the best Ivy League colleges in US. However, cost approximately 20 lakh rupees per year. Couldn't afford it. First financial shock that he got. Same thing, repeated. Diksha, his daughter, she wanted to go in for design, couldn't get through NID, got through some of the best colleges like Raffles of Singapore, but again very expensive. Couldn't afford design institutes abroad. So a second financial shock that he got. He could not take money out from insurance policies except at the loss. Emptying the DSOP was resisted by wife. She said, this is just the starting. There's so many things, their marriages, their higher education, our own house has to be renovated, so many other things which are there. If we empty out a DSOP just for graduation, what would we do later? And he already had many loans. He couldn't go in for any more loans. He realized that there are so many more big expenses which are coming up in future. Post-graduation of children, the marriages, car replacements, family was asking for vacations abroad. Oh, everybody gets, they take selfies in front of Eiffel Tower, put it on Facebook. Why can't we do it? And so many more such things. He couldn't see where is the money. He couldn't see, really. He said, is this usual or is there something wrong with the way he was earning well? He was saving also well. He thought so at least, but he had so many loans, house loan, car loan, PC loan, and sometimes he took personal loans also just because they were available. He said, planning? Oh, I do all the planning for the Fauji, for my unit, for my formation. I've been Colonel GS planning also, but what about my planning? Has I ever done any financial planning for myself? He couldn't think about it. And then a grave thought struck him. What if he himself is not around? You know, this is a very important thing. What if he himself is not around? Yesterday, somebody has sent me a WhatsApp. It's a forward. That forward talks about COVID environment, and it gives out 3 scenarios. If something happens in your family and somebody gets admitted, nobody can visit. Second scenario, somebody gets admitted, passes away, nobody can visit. Nobody knows at home what's happening. Third scenario, husband and wife suffer the same fate. Do children know everything? Or if one of, say, husband goes away, does wife know everything? No, they don't know. Do they know how to go about their financial life? They don't know. So, you know, there are so many things which are there to be looked at. Alice asked, which road do I take? The cat said, where do you want to go? He said, I don't know. And the cat said, then it doesn't matter where we want to go, because any road will take you somewhere at least, may not take you where you wish to go. Right? So we should not be in such a situation. He who does not know, you can read it, where he's heading will take the longest time to reach there if he reaches at all. Right? So sometimes these thoughts can be scary. And how could Arun, the guy we were talking about, have taken the correct route? Correctly identify what he wanted to have. That means financial goals. So had he planned slightly earlier what he wanted to have, what he wanted to do, he probably could have invested in the right kind of things. Then identify where best to invest for it. Suppose you have some requirement 3 months down the line, you don't go in for stocks for that requirement. Suppose you have a requirement coming up for your education for your children, say 7-8 years down the line, and if you put it in your savings bank account or in a insurance policy or in a FD, probably you will not be able to meet that requirement. You should have, and third is you should have the patience. If the kind of investment avenue you've gone in for requires patience, please have that. If it requires regular monitoring, FD doesn't require regular monitoring, SOP doesn't require, but if you put it in stocks, if you put it in real estate, if you put it in things like that, it does require monitoring once in a while. And you should have done an introspection on where do I stand today and where do I wish to go to, right? What does it mean? It means, what are my regular earnings? Most of the people know what are my regular earnings. There is no doubt in that. But what are my regular expenses? You might say, oh, we all know that. No, it doesn't. I'll tell you, not more than 5 to 10% of the officers who come to my office and interact with me or my staff actually know what are the regular expenses. We've had so many cases, so many times where people come, let's say a couple comes, husband, wife. Ask the husband, what do you think are your monthly household expenses? Oh, 30,000, 35,000. Wife says, nothing doing, nothing less than 70,000 or 60,000. So double. So we may know about regular earnings. We don't know generally about regular expenses. If we don't know what are our savings, that is earnings minus expenses, how will we invest or save? We need to take stock of our existing investments. Most of the time we don't invest, we collect investments. We see on the, say some WhatsApp comes to us, some email comes to us, or somebody rings us up. Sir, this is something great which is going on. Why don't you invest in it? Somebody gave me a WhatsApp about some unlisted shares of HDB Financial being available. Is it good for you? You have to analyze what do you need and what you don't need. What have you bought in the past? We buy insurance policies and then in files, or they go in e-folders. That's all. We don't open them. We forget about them. What are our upcoming expenses? We don't know. We don't tabulate them. Even if we sit down and tabulate them, we might have a better idea. So, am I getting the best bang for my buck? We don't know. How do we come to know that? That is what I'm trying to tell you now. See, this is a data collection form to the people who wish to go ahead with us. Please mute yourself. Somebody talking, please. Aditya Buddhi Raja, can you please mute yourself? Yeah. Can you please mute yourself? Hello, can you hear me?
So we can hear you, sir.
Okay, right. Thank you. Okay, right. Thank you. Somebody gave me a message that can't hear me. Okay. So this form that you see. Hello, somebody is Aditya. Can you please unmute? Somebody's voice is feeding. My voice is feeding back. Okay, thank you. Now, this is a form. I will request you to make out something like this. You may not have an exact form. This is the form that we use.
But I can't see the video. I can't see your presentation.
My screen is shared. Your internet may be slightly maybe unstable, because on my other laptop I can see the presentation going on.
We can see it. We can see it.
Okay.
Right, sir.
Thank you. So please try and make a list of things like this the way I am going to show you. Right here, I've written out some details of the children, some thinking on what do you think they might be going in for, right? What are your money inflows? What are your money outflows, right? Uh, Second, what are the investments, etc., that you have done? So what are your loans? Do you know the details of the loans? So many times when I ask people, they don't know when did they take the loan, how much did they take the loan for, what is the current rate of interest, how much is balance. So how will you try and optimize your loan return back if you wish to do that? Your details of the house or land property, most of the people know that, but people who've gone in for a lot of them sometimes don't even have those details. Details of mutual funds, please write it down. Details of stocks, what are your insurance policies? Typically, because insurance policies are for the long term, so somewhere we forget about them and just purchase them and put them away, right? Of course, I'll be dealing with insurance and all these things separately. Then you have then you have to take the way I have written it here. You should see as to just 1 minute. Yeah, as to where do you stand today? What are your assets? What are your loans that you have? Loans are called liabilities also, the way I have presented it here. And you may not be required to put it in a nicely colored chart, but at least you should have an understanding of what is your financial situation, right? In the sense, so many times when we make a financial plan for officers, we find that they've got liabilities which are much more than their assets, which means that they are in negative, which also means that so far in their life they have not only not made anything worthwhile, but they are hugely running into debts. Income and expenses, this I have already said. You can make a chart like this, something like this, and then see. Hope you are not spending more than you are earning. Hope you are saving adequately. Hope you are investing adequately. Right? Yeah. And here, this is a very important page. I'll request you to pay more attention. What are we doing here? Now here, I have written down here on the left side what could be the goals, the financial goals, future financial requirements of the person whose financial plan it is. It is an actual financial plan, by the way, but names, etc., have been changed to protect the confidentiality. But otherwise, here, these could be some of the financial goals. Then here I have, when are they coming up? What is the current cost per annum or total if it is a one-time cost? And when is likely to be what is likely to be the cost when they come up? Now, some of you might be shocked. Some of you might be shocked as to the difference between these, right? Abhinav's post-graduation, 6.5 lakhs, but it could cost 42 lakhs, 43 lakhs when it comes up, because it is in 2031-32, and this is taking into account the inflation. And please remember that inflation changes for different things. In the sense, inflation could be different for a car, inflation could be different for vacations, inflation could be different for your normal household living. 1 minute. No audio. Please check. I think the audio is very much on. Okay. Now you have to do a mapping here. Mapping means anything. You have to do a mapping here means whatever are your expenses which are coming up here, and what do you think are going to be your sources of money? Can you map them? For example, here, let's say Surbhi's medical expenses. In this particular case, the officer's daughter had some medical problem, and they were going to be recurring in medical expenses, much more than what the medical treatment would be from the Fauji hospitals. They were going to have a lot of medical expenses. So how do you map? Bank balance doesn't mean he has 56 lakhs today, but likely to come up over a period of time from the earnings, and the mutual funds, they are likely to grow. So this is the kind of expense that he would be able to meet in this manner. So various goals you have to map in this manner. And of course, if possible, you can also make out a chart like this as to what are you likely to be able to meet and what not likely to be able to meet. Okay. Then, like I said, everybody has some insurance or the other. You have to take it out, dust it out, take it out, and see what is that. When you took it, did you sorry, did you take it? When you took it, take it after understanding everything? Do you have a better understanding of things now? Can you analyze it now? Please see, does it still meet your requirements or not? Whatever policies are there, go through the fine print also, which normally we miss when we take an insurance policy, right? Okay. Analysis of loan for the property. We take loans, and once we take, it is a general tendency to continue with them, and if we have a money time, then we start prepaying them without analyzing, is it the right time to prepay? Should I be prepaying or not? These are the kind of things that we need to see about the loan. For example, here, if you can see the chart, I'm sure you can see the chart very clearly. If you see, initially, when the loan started, I'm taking this to be a 20-year loan. When the loan started, taking, say, the EMI, this is where the EMI has stabilized, right? In the fourth year, EMI has stabilized because loan has been taken. 1,76,000 is going in interest, and just about 50,000, 48,000 is going in principal. Fine. These are very good times to prepay loans. But if you start prepaying loans here, when all that you are giving back is primarily the principal amount and hardly any interest is left, there is no point in returning back at this time, unless of course if you are retiring and you think that now you should be loan free and you don't have debt whatsoever on your head, right? Please remember, by about 50% of the tenure of a loan, more than 75 to 80% of your interest has already been paid. So please prepay your loan with care if more than half time loan is over. Yeah, okay. And this is an executive summary. Some of you might find it difficult to read it, especially those who are taking this webinar on a mobile. Here, I've just given an executive summary of whatever you keep discovering from the analysis that we have talked about just now, right? And let me tell you, whatever I have given out, it doesn't take much of time. If you have one lazy Sunday morning, and now every day is a Sunday, so if you have one morning and you dedicate it to it, you will be able to come to a fairly good analysis of your financial life, and you will be able to come to a very good executive summary, very good analysis of some things that you've done, you've not done well in the past, some things you need to change, and some things you've not done and you need to do now. So what have we learned so far? It's important to know where we stand today. In the financial plan, whatever I showed to you so far, that was actually the process of financial planning, right? So with the initial pages, I tried to show where do we stand today, where do we need to go to, whatever we are doing right now, will it take us there or not take us there? And if not, where do we need to go now? What do we need to do now to reach there? And once the roadmap is clear, roadmap is made, then choosing investment avenues is very easy. But what do we normally do? Normally, we choose an investment avenue and then we see whether it fits in with our requirement or not. We find a property which seems to be cheap, so we go and take that property. Then we see how will it fit in. Okay, I'll sell it at the time of my child's marriage. That is not the way you should ever do it, right? If somebody recommends a stock to me, I have no understanding of that. I take that stock. I have bought it at let us say at a good time, but I don't know when to sell it. If I don't know when to sell it, it is as good as junk food. Coming back to Arun, where did he go wrong? We talked about him. What did he face? Bash on regardless. You know that 54 infantry div motto. Bash on regardless. No long-term planning. He didn't plan. He planned for Fauji. He planned for his unit, for his formation, but he did not plan for himself. Somewhere we think insurance is a great investment. Bank FDs seem to be gods. Real estate is holy cow. We do not know anything about taxation. We only think about tax when tax return is to be filed, and we can't do anything about the financial year which is already gone. Inflation, we don't look at it. Why do I say inflation, we don't look at it? I'll talk about it when I come to the debt section, about the fixed income section later. And we have a reluctance to seek professional financial services. We feel they're very costly. I don't know whose interest will they look after. Will they look after their own interest? And my interest will be the next one only, if at all. So we go to the doctors, we go to the CAs, we go to the lawyers, but financial planners, we don't have any interest. Suppose you are able to do that kind of a planning, the way I said. If you are able to do that kind of planning, we might think that it will be like this. But please remember, it will still be something like this. But if that planning was not there, it would have been much, much more difficult. Remember what they say in staff college. In a battle, the very first casualty is the plan. So plan will keep becoming casualty. Catching it, bringing it back on the course is what you need to do. Now, this part over, I come to a few basic financial concepts. The poor, hapless Arun Kumar should have known, and we all need to know that. First is human financial life cycle. Our financial life cycle has 3 phases. Phase 1. Phase 1 is the student phase, papa's money, no own money, right? Phase 2, this is the phase almost each one of us is passing through. This is the phase where we earn the most, where we spend the most, because most of the big things come through in life. Some might get carried over, definitely, but most of the requirements come during this time. And this is also the requirement when we cater for the phase 3, which I call as the golden retirement time. Now, golden retirement time will become golden only if we take care during this time. Second concept is the power of regular savings. You know, we have heard about simple interest, compound interest in our school also, and we keep hearing about this. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Let us say we only talk about investing 10,000 rupees per month. And even if we put it in, let's say, a bank FD kind of thing, 10,000 rupees per month after 10 years can become this much. And if it is Provident Fund, DSOP, PPF kind of thing, it can become this. And if we go in for stocks kind of thing for the long term, then it has the power to become something like that. Please mute yourself. Somebody not muting. Yeah. So if we, just 1 minute, the people still coming in. So here you see, here we have converted money into wealth. This is the way the transition takes place from money to wealth. And you will see from this that this transition is a transition of patience. There are lots of people who ask me, Should I go into futures and options? Should I go into commodities? Should I go into forex trading? My answer is, do you know them well? If you know them well, try it, but never ever commit more than 10% of your money into it, into these alternate avenues. Never ever do that, because if you do that, you don't know what will happen there, right? Third, and this is about the compound interest. Everybody knows this guy, Albert Einstein. He said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. What is the meaning of this part? He who doesn't understand it, pay it. When we take a loan, we pay this compound interest. That is why you find, HDFC stock is going so high. They earn compoundedly on our money, right? So if we understand it, we will not have somebody else who's earning from it. We will be earning ourselves from it. Third is inflation. Most of us do not understand inflation, right? Right now, inflation might seem to be very low. It's been low for about a year plus, but this is not the normal. Normally in India, inflation in the past 20 years has been about 7.47%, right? I'm taking it to be 7%, but as countries advance, as they become more developed, then inflation rate comes down. Maybe the inflation might remain low for some time to come, but the normal, I don't think in India we'll see anything less than 6% on an average for a long period of time, right? Now, inflation, suppose our current household expenses are 50,000 rupees per month. In 20 years, if the inflation is 7%, it will reach about 2 lakh rupees per month without any increase in our level of or in our lifestyle, right? Doesn't impress? Okay, let us see it from another point of view. Suppose you have 10 lakh rupees and you put it in a box, close it and leave it. Open it after 20 years, right? Of course, you will find 10 lakh rupees in it, definitely, unless of course rats have done their thing. But if there are 10 lakh in it, it is not the 10 lakh that you put in today. The purchasing value, purchasing power of that 10 lakh rupees because of inflation of this will be about 2.3 lakhs. That means approximately 75% of the value of your money has evaporated in thin ice. Why? Only because you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. The money kept on losing its value, and 20 years later, the same 10 lakh rupees will only be able to purchase what 2.3 lakhs can purchase today. We all have seen it throughout our life. Tax, we forget about tax also. Lots of people think that tax, let's say fixed income instruments earn a lot. Today, post office monthly income scheme earns 6.6%. If you are in 30% bracket, this is what it is actually earning. If it is 20%, if you are in 20% tax, still you are not earning anything great. So it might seem that you are earning 6.6, but effective earning is this, because this is fully taxable. Bank FDs, SBI Bank FD for 1 year, which is the benchmark rate, is earning you 5%. Savings Bank is earning you 2.75% today in SBI. But this is not the real rate. This is the real rate that you get. So keep this into account. Please don't write on my screen DSOP. Somebody has written. I'll request you to wipe it out. DSOP, definitely. DSOP is earning 7.2% today, I think. DSOP is a very, very good investment avenue for people. I definitely say that. Why? Because there is no tax. Not having tax on something will definitely, make that instrument, just 1 minute, not having an instrument being taxed or something getting taxed at a lower rate definitely makes that make that investment much more attractive. For example, and please don't take it that I am telling you to go in for equity or equity mutual funds. Equity mutual funds in the long run are likely to earn about 11%, right? Likely. The market movements notwithstanding. There, if you take out your money in 1 year, you pay a tax of 15%. It's a concessional tax. And after 1 year, first 1 lakh is tax free. And on the rest, you pay about 10%. So that is a very, very concessional tax. Now, if you combine tax and inflation, you could be having a double whammy. Suppose you are able to get 5.5% interest. And I'm talking about proper scheduled banks. I'm not talking about small banks like, let's say, AU Small Finance Bank, which will give you 7.5%, 8%. I'm not considering those risky banks at all. Let us say SBI, PNB, HDFC, ICICI kind of banks, about 5 to 5.5% interest you are getting. You go there, you tell them that you want to double your money. They'll say, sir, 13 years will double the money. You say, okay, I've got 10 lakh rupees with me and I want to double it. They will say, okay, definitely, sir, we'll give you a higher rate of interest, not 5%, we'll give you 5.5%. How much money will you receive at maturity? You will receive 20 lakhs. Definitely, money will double. But what is the purchasing power of that 20? At that time, your purchase, the 10 lakh rupees that you have put in, it will be 20 lakh rupees at that time will be able to purchase almost the same things which you can purchase. So effectively, you earn nothing, and you would have paid these kind of taxes also during those times. So you see, if you don't take tax and inflation into account, you are likely to arrive at conclusions. Please remember one thing. Risk and return are at two ends.
मूवी लगाई पंकज ने वहाँ पे.
Shiny Thakur, please go on mute.
Akshani, please, yeah, please mute yourself. Name I'm seeing is Akshani. Please mute yourself. Yeah. So this is the risk return slider. As you can see here. Sorry. Yeah. See, risk and safety. Returns and safety are at two ends of a slider. Returns and safety. If you are taking high risk in something, there is a probability of high returns. There is no high returns for sure. There is a probability of high returns which is there. If you go in for high safety, then definitely there are low returns. So on this scale, you have high safety but low returns at one end, high probability of possibility of high returns at the other end. They are at the two ends. This is your slider. If you want high safety, you are going away from returns. If you want high returns, you will have to go away from safety. Please remember this. There is no investment in the world which has high safety and high returns. It is just a marketing gimmick. It cannot happen. It is against the principles of investment, right? On the other side, just because you are taking a high risk, it will not mean high returns automatically. So if you want high returns, you will have to take high risk and hope that you will get high returns and move away from safety for definite. If you want safety, you will have to accept low returns. Please remember this. Now, in the third and last phase, we will take each and every investing instrument one by one, 5 of them. 5 of them we will take. I hope you can see my fingers. So we will take 5 investing instruments and go over them, their good, bad, and ugly part one by one. First is life insurance. What exactly is life insurance? Life insurance is a protection shield, but unfortunately, it is missold for commissions. See, what is insurance is? It is a financial protection against unexpected events in life. Let's say you take a car insurance. You take car insurance so that if it meets any accident, then you can go to the insurance agency and they will reimburse your costs that is there for in replacing the car or the damages. However, just 1 second, please. There are people who are still asking for entry into the webinar. Okay. So the sole aim of insurance is financial protection against unexpected events in life. It is definitely not investment. If you combine insurance with investment, actually you think, or the agent will make you believe that you're getting the best of both worlds, but actually you will get worst of both the worlds. Why do I say that? These are the typical returns in today's scenario for the popular LIC policy plans. I'm not against LIC. I've just put LIC because it is the biggest insurer in the country. But the very same thing is true of ICICI, HDFC, Bajaj, Birla, whatever, all these insurance agencies. And why is it so? See, we have to remember, insurance is a push product. It is not a pull product. What does push product mean? Suppose somebody comes to me and says, sir, please take this insurance policy because you might die unexpectedly. I will never take it. Why? Everybody thinks that he or she is immortal. Everybody else dies. We will never die. This is a general tendency. I also think so. I'm sure you would also be thinking so. Nobody knows that we may not be there tomorrow, right? So the fact that I may die anytime, it doesn't sell. It doesn't sell, right? What sells is if I peg it to something emotional to me. Like if I say, if the agent tells me, sir, please take this policy. This will be very handy for you to have a great retired life. Or, sir, this would be for your children's education. Please take it. So that agent pegs it to my emotional requirement and I buy it. But do you know the kind of just one minute. Yeah. Do you know the kind of commissions that they get on that? They could be getting anything from 20 to 35% of your premium could be going to that agent as commission. So you might think that you have paid a 1 lakh rupees of premium. So 1 lakh should grow. Actually 1 lakh minus 35,000, that actually 65,000 rupees only is growing because 35,000 rupees has gone as companies and that agent's commission. That is why policies perform so badly. Other insurances like unit linked insurance plan, though ULIPs have become much more efficient now, still up to about 6.5 to 7.5% commissions and various charges are still there in them. Pension plans, please don't use insurance policies for pension, for your pension. It doesn't work. Medical insurance, we keep getting a lot of inquiries whether medical insurance Fauji should take or not. Serving officers, it does not make any sense for you to take medical insurance. Why? If you look at it this way, you've got unlimited medical insurance from Fauji, right? No company gives you unlimited medical insurance. Just go and see, suppose you say, I want 50 lakhs worth of medical insurance. You will be surprised to see the kind of premium. For even 5 lakhs, if you are above 50, you'll be surprised to see the medical insurance premium that you have to pay. And 5 lakhs is nothing in today's world. Now for the retired officers. Retired officers, to some extent, I might say you might need for a couple of years now, because of the turbulence that ECHS is going through. But if in the area where you are settled or hope to settle down, if ECHS is good and still catering for your requirements, then you do not need medical insurance. Please remember the line I just now said, that you have unlimited medical insurance through ECHS. Last thing in medical insurance is, please don't think that your claims will go through very, very easily. There are hundreds of ifs and buts. That is number one. Number two, medical insurance comes into play only if you are admitted into a hospital or are in such kind of a situation which previously used to be hospital admission. For example, cataract. Now, cataract earlier used to require admission for 3 to 4 days. Now it doesn't. But it doesn't mean that cataract will be taken care of very easily. Right? So these kind of serious situation only your medical insurances is applicable. It is not applicable for OPD kind of things. Of course, there are many policies which give you OPD, etc. But then they are too expensive and it is not worth it. If you feel you need any kind of life insurance for whatever reason, please take only term insurance plans. Term insurance plans are the plain vanilla insurances. There is no investment component in it and the premiums are pretty low. An agent most probably will not give it to you because there's hardly any commission in it. If you go to a company office, they may also not be very keen, but online you can take them very, very easily. Most of the officers do not require any kind of insurance, and insurance policy funded through DSOP can be very damaging for an officer, for a serving officer. Why do I say that? In insurance, you get your returns are very, very poor if you go in for an investment linked plan. On the other side, your DSOP gives you much more return and that too tax free. So if your policy is funded through DSOP, then you are taking out premium every year or maybe even every month from a higher earning investment revenue and putting it in lower earning investment revenue. And that too, you are badly locked in insurance policies like endowment and pension plans. Please don't ever do that. These are the insurance myths that go around, that insurance is for tax saving, insurance is for investment, insurance will give you great returns, nothing like that. Insurance may be for tax saving, but you pay a very, very high cost for that tax saving. Okay, I now come to equities. Just 1 minute. Coming back to Arun. Arun initially thought when he invested that equity is great for making quick money. You just wish it and you will get it. However, later on when he realized no, it may not be so, he did a 180 degrees turn. Oh no, equity is very risky. Don't touch even with a barge pole. Let me tell you, both are extremes. Neither is equity for making quick money, nor is it so risky that you don't touch it even with the barge pole, right? This is the data only till 2018. I'll show you later other data also just now. All sorts of crises have taken place in the past. Markets have gone up, markets have gone down, but if you see in the long run, markets have gone like these. If you want to see what's happening right now, I'll just show it to you. Yeah, just have a look at this. I hope you can see this chart, right? This is a 5-year chart that is there. And if we see, and this is the...
You got to change your screen.
Can you see the screen?
Not yet.
Not, no? Okay, just a minute.
On the old screen.
Achha, just 1 minute. Can you see this?
You got to
No,
reshare.
sir.
Not yet.
Not seen.
You can't
Sir,
see
not
this?
seen, sir.
Okay.
Sir, not seen, sir, not seen.
Not seen.
The same
Stop
old
the
chart.
Stop the
Same old chart.
It says 25 year in India.
Okay. Got it. Just a minute. I'll try to share it. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
See?
Yes, sir.
Seen, sir, seen. Seen.
Can you see the investing.com screen that I've done? Yeah. So,
Sanjeev seen.
this shows the journey of Nifty over a period of time. There have been ups and downs. Just a minute. Is it Nifty or no? This is sorry. This is Nasdaq that I've got open. Can you see this Nifty index chart?
We can see it, sir.
Okay, right. So this is Nifty index chart. There have been ups and downs. If I make them bigger, you will find there are plenty of ups and downs here also. There have been big down. Obviously, you can guess it that this is 2008 which happened, and this is the one which has happened right now. You see it like this, that once that problem is over, or after such big falls also, the indices, they resume their upward movement, and it happens all the time. This is not something which is unique. It will all the time, whether we see if we see this 5-year chart, you see this, and here it is, now the peaks and troughs are even more prominent. You will find it keeps happening all the time, but ultimately it keeps moving like this. Even this one which is happening right now, it will keep coming down. In the past about 1.5 months, it fell down very sharply. It has already recovered about 50% of the fall. It keeps happening all the time. And what I was showing you earlier was the even at global level, same thing was happening. Sorry, I've got these. Just a minute, please.
Nifty 50 chart.
Yeah, you see, this is what is at the global level. Just a minute, I'll put it up. This is as you can see, Nasdaq Composite, which is of the IT, information technology related stocks in US. Same thing happens in the stock markets all over the world. It keeps happening. 2005, 2008, you see this is a huge fall which had happened, and after that it is going up. This is the recent fall which has happened. So if we see what has happened in the past 1 year, this is what has happened. This is the big fall that we all have seen, and then it has started climbing up. There in US, it has recovered almost just about 12-15% of recoveries, right? Because the Fed there has infused a lot of liquidity in the markets today. So just a minute.
Screen is blank now.
Slide is gone.
Yeah. So we are back to the main presentation. Yeah. I've already showed you how has the stock market moved in the past many years. This is the data of equity over a long period of time. This is a comparison in 15 years. What can people expect? But please remember, insurance policy, to some extent, it could be you can guess what kind of returns. DSOP, PPF, etc. You can definitely do. Equity mutual funds or equity as such, direct stocks as such, they could vary. General things have shown that in about 7 years, 5 to 7 years, 7 years plus, you could be getting very good returns. But then if pandemics like coronavirus happen, they can, create a lot of turbulence. One more thing that we have to realize, that is, when you buy equity, you are actually buying a part of the business. You make yourself open to the vagaries of business. When you buy, let's say, Reliance, if you just buy 100 shares also, you are buying a part ownership. And hence, you should buy a stock with the frame of mind that you are now going to be an owner, even though it is 0.0001%, you are going to be an owner. One question which I have been asked very, very frequently is, why do you say that stocks will definitely perform in long period of time? See, please remember, whenever businesses are there, whenever stock market is there, three things because of which stocks outperform anything else in the long term. Number one is the general inflation of the society, of the economy, plus the growth that is there, plus the risk premium that you pay for the stocks. If the risk premium was not being given, why should anybody take the risk? If it were not to grow beyond the inflation of the GDP growth, nobody would take that risk. Second point of view is, if businesses do not earn more than what they can earn by putting their money in safer avenues, why should anybody do business? Hence, businesses will always outperform. Ramesh, can you please mute your audio? Businesses will always, equity will always outperform in the long term. Okay. Now, should Arun have done the equity investments the way he did? He should have realized that it is risky in the short term. Typically, in less than 3 to 5 years horizon, equity could go anywhere. Also, equity requires extensive knowledge of stock markets and the chosen stocks, knowledge of latest financial and economic happening in India and all over the world, keen sense of entry and exit. Like I said earlier, you might enter at the right time, but if you don't know when to exit, then the good time to exit would keep passing by and you would just keep sitting in that stock. And of course, you need to have regular monitoring, preferably on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, unless you are very sure that this stock you have taken for the long run and the equity where this particular company is definitely going to perform in the long run. All these things, how many of us can do? Many. So here comes in the mutual funds. What are mutual funds? See, the important part is the mutual part. We have to first understand the mutual fund. What is the mutual part in mutual funds? Mutual fund means there are a lot of people who collectively come together and then they invest their money together. That is the mutual part. There is an accomplished fund manager and his team who are there, who take this money. They've got knowledge, they've got research capabilities, they've got capability to understand the markets. They invest this collective money, they earn the returns, and then they give those returns are individually divided in the ratio of the money that is what is shown here. The investor is here, puts the money with the fund house. Fund manager invests in the securities or stocks. Returns are generated and then they are passed on to each individual investor. Now, what is this entity called fund house? As on today, 45 fund houses of the likes of ICICI, Birla, HDFC, Kotak, SBI, LIC, Access, these kind of companies, Indian companies, Invesco, Franklin, Principal, and such kind of foreign fund houses, they've been allowed to run mutual funds in India. Each fund could have anything from just 2, 3 to 100 plus schemes. Each scheme has a fund manager, could have more than one fund manager also, and his own investment team. Now people choose the scheme or schemes where they want to invest. They give the money to the fund manager and then they invest the money. That is how a mutual fund works. So all the problems, that means knowledge of latest, sense of entry, timing, monitoring, etc., is done by the fund manager and his team on the behalf of the investors. And then, of course, there's a huge amount of competition between the various schemes and fund houses. There are a total of 2,200 schemes today in the Indian market. Everybody is trying to be number one in their respective category, because the number one gets the maximum investments. Maximum investments means the fund house earns the most. Hence, there is a huge amount of competition, which is good for people like us. The more the competition, the more the fund managers will try to outperform, give us better, get better bang for the buck that we have given to them, and hence. So that for most of the people, mutual fund should be the preferred way of going into the stock markets, rather than going directly into the stocks. These are the kind of mutual funds. Equity diversified mutual funds. They could be large cap, large and mid cap, multi cap, small cap, various kinds of funds. And there are thematic funds, there are sector funds, all those. Second category is the debt funds. Debt funds are the ones which invest primarily in government bonds, bank FDs, and corporate FDs, company FDs, or a combination of these. They also have their own risks. So whatever are you ready for is the kind of things you should go in for. And then you have the hybrid funds, which are a combination of equity and debt in various proportions. You could have 50 equity, 50 debt, 30, 70, or indeterminate also, something called balanced asset allocation funds, where as the market, the allocation is set, how much equity to have and how much debt to have. For example, right now the asset allocation funds are having up to about 70 to 80% in equity funds, in equities, and lesser amount in debt funds, because the markets are very, very well priced right now. Okay, I'll skip this because this is meant for very young officers. Now, after equity, we come to debt products. Like I said, debt products are the ones which are comparatively safe instruments. Our DSOP comes there, PPF, post office schemes, national savings scheme, the bank FDs, other deposits, FDs, RDs, debt mutual funds, which are for short term or long term, government bonds, perpetual bonds, tax-free bonds, corporate bonds. There are so many variants, NCDs, non-convertible debentures. There are so many variants that are there in the market, each serving a particular segment, each being there for a particular purpose. Now, one very important thing of debt products is that it is for moderate returns. Why? If you remember back the risk wala slider that I showed, here we are going in for them because we want to have safety. If we go in for safety, obviously the returns will be less, and returns will be less, hence taxability is high. On suppose you get 10% return or something and you pay 30% tax, compared to that, if you just get 6% and you pay 30%, obviously post-tax returns, there's a lot of difference. So seeing the post-tax returns in safe income, fixed income, or debt products as they are variously called is very, very important. But please remember, now even the debt products are market linked, in the sense you would have found that since last year, the government is changing the interest rates every quarter, and sometimes in between the quarter also, if there is a huge volatility in the interest rate market. For example, Just some time back, the interest rates were typically in the 8-9% range. Today, everybody is talking about 5% range, and the interest rates are destined to go further down because of this pandemic that is happening. Almost all the debt products except DSOP, PPF, EPF kind of things, and debt mutual funds, they are assured loss makers rather than assured safety of capital. Please remember this. They're a very strong statement that I'm making, but I'm making it with full knowledge. Why? Because if you have a tax-free investment avenue like DSOP, EPF, and PPF, they are tax-free, subject to certain conditions, of course. Then your returns are fairly fine. Debt mutual funds, if you keep for anything more than 3 years, the taxation is very, very benign. But if you go in for FDs and RDs and post office investments and things like that, all of them are fully taxable as per your tax brackets. You will find that typically they will give you returns which are less than even the rate of inflation. What does this mean? The things that you buy, they are increasing at a high rate. However, your investments are increasing at a slower rate because of the tax that you are paying. So please remember this part, that you are when you go in for them, you are going to earn less than even the inflation. That is how the safe products all over the world are designed. You go to any country, you go to any economy, after inflation, you will find that you're getting much less than what the inflation rate. After taxation, you're getting much less. Okay. One more thing that I will like to cover. One thing you have to remember very, very carefully, that in debt products, there are certain products available in the market which could meet your requirements much better than the conventional. For example, when I take the retirement seminar, I will talk about tax-free bonds. Today, tax-free bonds are earning something like 5 to 5.1%, 5.05, 5.1% interest. Now, this is the same that your bank FD is earning. And here, the tax-free bonds are tax-free. So, if we take it that today, the inflation is much, much lesser, you are earning the same thing as your bank interest, bank rate, but without tax. On the other side, you could go in for something called perpetual bonds. They are earning something like 8.5% if you get the perpetual bonds of State Bank of India. There is a risk, maturity risk there, but there is no risk to your capital, to your earnings, to your safety. So if you go in for them, knowing fully well what is the characteristic of those kind of instruments, then you can earn much better returns, even while being in 100% safety. Now, real estate. Like I said, Arun got a AWHU flat, very good. But he got another flat which was never delivered. We all know what is real estate. I don't have to tell anybody. Real estate is primarily of 3 types. Number 1, land. Number 2, flat or house. And number 3 is commercial. Right? They have their own dynamics, and I'm very, very sure each one of you understand those dynamics. However, here I would like to bust 3 myths. They are written on the slide. Number 1, please never take home loan to save tax. It is being penny wise, pound foolish. Why so?
No.
Because let us say you take a home loan today for, let's say, 50 lakh rupees. You take it, let us say, because home loan rates haven't yet come down very much. So I'll still talk about 8.3% of home loan rate, though some banks have started giving low. At 8.3 rate of interest, if you take a 15-year loan, do you know how much will you return back? You will return back approximately 95 lakh rupees. So 50 lakh loan, 45 lakh is likely to be the interest that you will pay. Right? Some people will say, oh, I'll save tax also. Absolutely fine. Very, very right. But how much tax do you save? Let us say you will save the maximum tax when you are in the highest tax bracket, right? Let us say you are paying 100 rupees of interest. You will save 30% of that 100 rupees of tax of interest. That means you will save 30 rupees, but 70 rupees you will not save. For saving 30 rupees, you are giving 70 more rupees of interest. Hence, if you are taking a home loan only to save tax, absolutely wrong. However, if you do want a house and you don't have that bulk, you have no choice but to take a home loan. There is no doubt in that. However, try at least in the initial years to pay back even small sums. Typically in the banks, you can pay back up to 25, the minimum that you can pay back is 25,000 rupees. And there is no limit on the number of times you can pay a home loan back. You will find that if you pay back any amount towards the beginning of the home loan, you will save much more. You will save many times of interest that you would have otherwise paid. Right? That is number one. Number two, too many properties will make you asset rich and cash poor. We've talked about the asset part. Assets don't translate into a good lifestyle. Please remember that. Assets are there and they will only sit there. They will not contribute to your life. Liquidity contributes to your life. Liquidity defines your lifestyle. If, let us say, I give you an example. You want some money, let's say next month, but your investments are all locked in. You just cannot take it out. What good is that asset? You have great amount of real estate, but you want money next month, or let's say 4 or 5 months later, and you can't sell your property. What good is that asset? Right? So be asset rich if you can be, but never ever be cash poor. It is better to be cash rich and asset poor rather than be asset rich and cash poor. Right? Last, lots of people take property for rental purposes. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Lots of people take property for rental purpose. Please remember, in India, it does not work out. If you have a residential property, your rental returns are at the best likely to be 2.5%. Getting 2.5% itself is very difficult. You feel I'm not right? Okay. I'll give you an example. I stay in Dwarka in Delhi, right? The cheapest house that you can get here is, let us say, about 1 crore, right? That 1 crore house, once you invest your money and buy that house, whether on loan or by putting in your own money, it will get you a rental of about 16,000 rupees. 16,000 rupees is 1.92 lakhs per year. You will pay tax on that rental that you get. Say you will get about 1.5, 1.6 lakhs a year. Now you've invested 1 crore. Your return is 1.5 lakhs a year after tax, 1.5%. Your biggest investment in life is earning you 1.5%. It doesn't matter what anything else is earning. Please remember this part. In India, rental returns are very poor. What about commercial? The best commercial today will get you, say, about 6%, 6.5%. After tax, it is likely to be 4.5 to 5%. Right? Earlier also it was like that, but earlier there was a big difference. You could buy property, get poor rental returns, but property used to rise. It used to rise sometimes even at the rate of 10% per year. But what is happening today? Today, property is not rising. For the past 7 years plus, property hasn't risen at all. And the way I see it for next few years, as such property market. Can I request somebody is talking?
Shibu Sarkar.
Yeah. Sorry.
Please go on mute, please.
Go on mute, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you. Property is not rising at all. There were some green shoots in some cities like Pune, Bangalore, and some southern places, and in some other pockets in East India, property had started rising, going up slowly. But this pandemic, COVID, has would have put everything out of gear. Again, the property will either be stagnant or might go down. So please think twice when you buy a property for rental purposes. It is better to put that money in bank and earn a return of just 3% rather than put it in properties and earn nothing at all, negative returns. And in case you feel that property is going to rise, please let your money lie in these things like mutual funds and FDs and things like that. When it starts rising, then buy it. Where is the problem? Ideal case, what I say is one property in which you plan to stay. That's all. This is an ideal case. Property should be used for that purpose only and nothing.
Ani sir, please go on mute.
Pani, please go on mute. Yeah. Now I come to gold. Though I have written all that glitters may no longer be gold, and you may contest me on this, saying, see where has gold risen? Yeah, gold has risen. I'll tell you something very, very, very peculiar about gold. You know, the saying in financial, community is, gold zooms when the world is doomed. And the gold is doomed when the world zooms. It will always be like this. Why? Gold traditionally is seen as something which is very, very safe. People run to gold when they see risk everywhere else. And that is what has happened in the past a month, more than a month, or let us say in the past 6 months, right? Gold has gone up because people saw risk. However, now as the world keeps recovering, you will start seeing gold going down. Gold will not go up then. For people who bought earlier, please keep, and if you have bought it only for the purpose of investment and even short-term investment, please keep watching how COVID is moving. If you find that the world is becoming better, don't just look at stock market. Sometimes stock market and gold can go together also. But keep looking at the economic indicator of the world. If the economies start going up, once again I say economy, don't look at only stock markets. Stock markets could go up due to some other reasons also. If the economies start doing well or start giving an indication of doing well, it might be a time to get out of gold. See this. This is a gold. This is the movement of gold over 10 years. Does it not look like a stock market chart? So gold could sometimes be as volatile as equity. Remember this. And this is gold in USD, right? Which is a more stable indicator rather than gold in INR, that is rupee. Now the final GAN. Somebody has just entered got into the meeting now. Okay, final GAN. Best combination for Arun. I keep going back to Arun because most of us have been like that. For protection, if you need it, term insurance. And for insurance, for investment, DSOP, PPF, EPF. EPF is meant for those who are in the corporate, to a limited extent. Going for mutual funds, equity and debt, they may not perform for some time, but you'll need to have patience. Sometimes debt might have adverse things. Have patience, things will come back. Property, ideal case, one house for yourself and maybe some gold. And please remember, when I talk about gold, then I'm not talking about gold for your own personal use. I'm talking about gold as an investment. Again, I'll elaborate. Gold is linked to our customs, traditions, our life. That is a separate goal. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about gold which you are thinking or have invested for the purpose of investment. This is the kind of planning strategy in general that I would recommend for most of the people. But please remember, this is correct for most in general, but for nobody in particular. What is good for you and what is not, what kind of asset allocation, this is something which is called as asset allocation. What kind of asset allocation should you have would entirely be dictated by three things. Number one, what is your risk profile? For example, somebody could be there whose financial risk profile would be very high. Risk profiles are of many types. We have so many para commando officers who are subscribed to us. Now they do not bother much about personal risk, about physical risk, but most of them say, I don't want to lose a single rupee. So financial risk profile could be zero, right? So financial risk, how much are you prepared or ready to take, or how much is your aptitude or attitude towards risk? Number two is, what is your stage of life today? What are your future requirements coming up? That will dictate your asset allocation. And number three is, how are the markets today? Let's say today we are telling people to take more of risk, right? Markets are down. They might have recovered quite a bit right now, but still there is a big scope. How much time? I don't know. Nobody knows. Anybody who says he knows is God himself, nothing else. So nobody knows how will the markets recover. But these three things should decide what should be your asset allocation between various things, various investment areas. Where are you? Just judge yourself. You should not be a victim of what I call financial paralysis. What is that? I don't need financial planning. I don't need financial investments. I don't need to plan anything for myself because we're just trying to make our ends meet. My parents never did financial planning. They were okay anyway. I don't have time. My kids will take care of me. I need very small amount of after retirement. You just see, if you haven't done any financial planning, what are you saying to yourself? अपने को बहलाने के लिए आप क्या कह रहे हैं, right? Or have you taken somebody else's investment choices with your own money? Don't take tips from others. Others' tips might be good for them. They may not be at all suitable for you. I see so many people coming to me, sir, I bought stocks. I don't know what are they. I don't know where are they. They could be anywhere. I've seen people who bought 5,000 worth of stocks, which are worth 92,000 today, and vice versa. Right? So things like this, they are not your choices. If they are not your choices, please don't take them. They should be just amusing you and nothing else. Please remember, easiest way to become poor. Traditional insurance policies. Impulsive buying like a property or a stock on a stock tip. Keeping large amount in savings bank account, bank FDs, etc. Investing in stock markets with little or no knowledge just because somebody else is saying. Or relying on free advice. Nothing ever is free. Easy tips to become rich. Plan, plan, and plan. Always plan. What are your requirements? What do you need and how should you invest? Choose the right combination of investing avenues. This is the most important investing tip. Invest regularly. Have patience. Increase this regular investment amount as you earn more and more. Make your investments tax efficient to the extent that investments, the tax rules allow. But don't let this be, making it tax efficient, be the central purpose of investing. Sometimes you could invest in things which may not be so tax efficient, but then they could be still could be very good investment events. Let not real estate block your dreams. You don't need more than one house to stay. Anything more than one house is probably blocking your dreams. Prepare a will, do charity, have an enriching life. There's so much that we can do for others. Start today, tomorrow may be too late. You are 60, not too late. You are 30, not late at all. You are 65, 70, not late at all. Please remember this. Do you need an advisor? If you feel you are self-sufficient, you have good knowledge, definitely you will save costs. But if you feel that you are not able to devote time to it, if you feel that you are not able to develop a bigger, clearer picture, if you want help in transitioning your wealth to your legal hires and don't know how to do it, end-to-end solutions, probably like a doctor, like a CA, like a lawyer, a financial advisor, an ethical financial advisor, maybe what you do. This is what a financial planner can do for you. Right. Most important, integrity and professional competence of your financial planner and your comfort with that company. Today, financial planners are there everywhere. Look for a financial planner whom you are comfortable with, somewhere around you. If you are more comfortable with face-to-face dealing, if you are comfortable with online kind of things and remote, then there are financial planning companies all over the country and doing a fabulous job. They're very ethical financial planning companies, very competent, very professional, which are all over the country now. So what does it summarize to? Set your financial goals. Very important. If you don't have goals, then you're traveling on a road without knowing where is that road leading you. Decide whether you can do that yourself or you want professional help. Start early. Start early, and please remember, there is no definition to being late. Whenever you think, जैसे कहते हैं ना हिंदी में, जब जागे तभी सवेर. Start now. Invest regularly. Increase regular investments every year as your own income increases. If your income is frozen, then maybe suppose you are retired and there is no more income which is coming, then you can disregard this part. Make friendship with power of compounding. If you don't need money, don't take out from your investments. Don't take out and then put it in your savings bank account where they just lie and earn nothing. Be a disciplined investor. Aim to convert money to wealth. We saw how small amount of money can be converted to wealth. The end piece, life throws all the choices at you. They are like bifurcations on a road called life. Do you remember in NDA, IMA, OTA, ACC, when we went there, how were we? We all were almost at the same plan. But then, depending on what bifurcations we took when the bifurcations came, that has decided where are we now. That's why two people who started out same turn out to have so different financial lives many, many years later now. About my company, this is my website. If you go here, you'll find a lot of things that are there which would answer a lot many questions that you still have, or if you want to go through them in detail. As a company, Fauji Initiatives, most of you know, Fauji Initiatives deals only with armed forces officers. This is our website. You will find a lot of things that are there in the knowledge tab and in the blog tab. I try to write this blog myself. You will find lots of things that you have always thought of, never found an answer for that. You will find that here. We also, this is the blog that we have. We also have lots of social media presence. This is Facebook. This is our Twitter. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Instagram. And at least 1 to 2 posts every day are there on these. You want to give a feedback, I'll be very grateful if you can just go to this www.humfauji.in/seminar. Within 15 seconds, you will be able to just give us a feedback, and so that I can improve, we can improve our seminars that we have started from today, and we plan to do plenty of them in times to come. These are our future webinars this week. There's a retirement seminar on Tuesday, that is day after, at 6:30 in the evening. I've kept it at 6:30 because people might be going to work. Starting with financial life webinar, that is on Saturday this week itself. That is primarily for young officers and children of armed forces families who are doing a corporate job. I know lots of officers who are serving. They have not been able to join today because Zoom is not allowed for serving officers. So we'll find an alternative and do. Sorry, this is. Lastly, please send in your observations or comments about this webinar. Any topics that you want for future webinars. If you wish it to be conducted exclusively for your Fauji group formation or establishment, of course, minimum 100 officers, maybe more, then you can please send it to us. How to send it? Please let us know on contact@humfauji.in, or you can send a WhatsApp or SMS to Nimisha at phone number, the same phone number, or mail ID on which you had sent your requirement yesterday. Any questions? I will just go to the chat now. If anybody has typed any chats there. I will not be able to take the personal questions here because then everybody will, yeah, any questions? Okay, I'll take the latest questions that are coming rather than go back. A question which has come from AS, I don't know the full name, sorry. Is this a right time to buy an apartment? If you are buying it for yourself to stay, definitely it is a very good time to buy an apartment. Though I feel that property prices may go down further, but don't try to time it. It may not work out because I don't control the property market. Though we do properties, etc., all across the country, but it is a good time to buy an apartment for yourself. For investment, definitely not. I don't think, firstly, you should go in for an apartment for an investment. I think property market is going to remain weak for quite some time. Even if it doesn't go down, you have the money, park it somewhere else, keep watching the market, and then buy later. Right? Just 1 minute. Yeah. What about Franklin Templeton debt fund? What to do? Okay. Franklin Templeton, as you know, that 6 of the Franklin Templeton schemes, they have, yeah, where is the question? Yeah. Franklin Templeton schemes, they have been frozen, right? Freezing does not mean that your money is gone or something like that. This is unfortunate, unprecedented. Never ever has it happened any time in the past ever. And I don't know any such parallel anywhere else. Though once Franklin Templeton had frozen it, I came to know about few schemes which got frozen in Eurozone also, Euro markets also. Basically, they have frozen it. Those 6 schemes definitely are alive. All the NAVs you will get the daily NAVs in the normal manner as when they were not frozen. The interest on the papers held in those schemes will keep on coming. I keep interacting with Franklin Templeton management almost on a daily basis. They are making all efforts to restart paying back the amounts to the investors. However, first, as per the rules, they have to pay it back to the banks from whom they are taking credit lines for paying back the credit lines and the borrowings that they had done. In fact, to our own investors, I had sent 2 audio clips explaining these at various points of time. First one was sent on 24th, immediately after this happened, and one was sent 3 days back. In case anybody wants it, you can just WhatsApp me for it. My number, my personal number is 9999 022 033. That means 9999 Mumbai, Kolkata. This is the STD codes of Mumbai and Kolkata for you to remember. Right. So don't worry, whatever has frozen, it will come back. It might take some time. I'm expecting about 1.5 to 2 years, but money will come back, and inshallah, it should come back with some additions. Of course, that I can't say. I don't know about it. Okay. Yeah. Colonel Vivek Mathur, can you tell something about company FDs? See, company FDs are like bank FDs, just that they are with the companies. For example, right now we are doing corporate FDs of LIC Housing Finance. We are doing for HDFC. We are doing for PNB Housing Finance. PNB is the PNB Housing Finance is the Punjab National Bank subsidiary, and we are doing it for one more Mahindra. No, not Mahindra and Mahindra. ICICI Home Finance. So when you take company FDs, you have tenures ranging from 1 to 5 years. Typically, rates of interest are obviously higher. For example, bank FD today is about 5%. Like I said, 5.5 for the scheduled established banks. Corporate FDs, you could get anything from 6.8, 7%, which is much more. And you could choose any tenure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Taxation is the same as for bank FDs. So there is nothing in taxation as such, but they will be taxed like bank FDs, but you get much more interest. Okay, Colonel Vijay Chandrachud has asked about NPS. NPS stands for National Pension Scheme. There is a big doubt in the mind of serving and retired officers. Can you take NPS? Definitely. National Pension Scheme, anybody can take. You can just go to the PFRDA website, and there you can learn more. Now, when you say, can you comment on NPS? I think you're asking, is it a good thing to have or not? Please remember a few things. NPS is basically meant to give you pension. Pension is to start from 60 years of age. Under certain conditions, it can be deferred up to 65/70 also. However, if you need pension, then only you should go in for NPS. Please go to our blog. I have written many articles, many blogs on whether serving, about to retire, or retired officers should take NPS or not. In my point of view, if you are going to retire with Fauji pension, you do not need any more pension in most cases. However, if you have any, if let us say you think that your lifestyle is very high and you need much more pension than what the government will give you, then I will recommend try to get pension from sources, other sources like mutual funds. Mutual funds have pension funds even from normal pension, normal investment mutual funds. You can take something called SWP. You can invest in safe debt funds, and you can take systematic withdrawal plans, which are very, very tax efficient. Nobody locks you in. In NPS, you get locked in for life. That is one of the biggest problems. Whatever amount you put in the NPS, 40% of it will get locked in forever. 60% you can withdraw, but 40% you will never be able to withdraw. Why do you want to go into such a situation? Today, if an officer is retiring, let's say as a colonel, and he does not commute, you are likely to get about 1.25 lakhs of pension, which suffices for most of the people. So if you think you require more, don't commute. or commute much lesser than 50%. Kailash Bansal has asked, is debt fund safer anymore? On the roads when we go, there are accidents which keep happening. When we fly, planes do crash once in a while. It doesn't mean that we should not go there. Debt funds safer anymore? There are, like I said, 2,200 schemes. There are more than 1,000 schemes or debt funds. Out of that, 6 have got frozen. There have been some defaults in the past, right? That is when we try to take some returns or more returns out of debt funds, obviously we are taking more risk. In our case, in our company, we've taken a conscious decision that now we are going to use, we have changed our strategy totally. We are going to use debt funds only for safety. Hence, debt funds, like Kailash Bansal, if you go in for debt funds in these categories, banking and PSU fund, they invest only in bank FDs and only in public sector unit FDs kind of things, or bonds. Second, corporate bonds, corporate debt fund. They are very, very safe. They are very safe. Going for money market instruments, funds which are investing in money market instruments. When you go in for these, even arbitrage funds for more than 6 months of investing revenue, you will find these funds are very, very safe, almost as safe as the safest investing avenues that you can think. Somebody who's calling himself Win10 has written, suggestion for Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana is meant for the girl child and meant for girls who are less than 10 years of age. It's an excellent scheme. It's a beautiful scheme for girls, for saving for your girls for the long term. But please save, please invest in this with the knowledge that you can't get out before 21 years of age of the daughter, right? You cannot take out any money before 18 years of age, subject to certain, some certain special circumstances. So if you are investing in it, it is a very good investing avenue. It is good for the long term for a girl child. It is good. It gives you tax-free income and it gives you very good returns also. The government has deliberately kept the returns higher than normal. So for people who want to save for their girl child, very good. What is the percentage of your gross salary that you should put in DSOP? This has come from Indrajit Singh. Now see, this is a very difficult question to answer because it will entirely depend on what is your age today, what is your investment so far, what kind of things, what are your future requirements coming. I'll tell you, it is much easier to give an answer to this question for a very young officer. Let us say an officer, 2, 3, 4 years of service or just commission. I tell them, let's say you are getting about 90,000 rupees of your salary. Take out whatever is your expenses. Typically for a young officer, the expenses are anything from 20 to 25,000. Let's say 30,000, though it is not 30,000. Let's say 30,000. After taking out tax, fax, everything, max it will be 30,000. He has 60,000 balance. Let us say he gives something home or something like that. So say he has 50,000 rupees balance. I tell that young officer to put 25,000 rupees in DSOP and 25,000 rupees in equity mutual funds. So 100% safety one place, high risk at one place, but for the long. For other officers, we typically do something called a risk profiling test. Based on that test, based on what are the future requirements coming up, based on how much service is left for you, we can say, you can interact with me separately if you wish to. I would be able to answer you in your particular case. Rajkumar, it's a very long personal case. So it's come to me privately. Everybody can't see it. I will, you can interact with me, Rajkumar. I will be able to talk to you. Jayesh asked me, is it good to invest in RBI bonds saving 7.75%? Yeah. So these are actually, the correct name is RBI 7.75% taxable bonds, right? As the name says, these are RBI bonds issued by Reserve Bank of India. So safety is no concern at all. They are right now giving 7.75% rate of interest, which is very good. The negative part is that there you are locked in for 7 years. These are 7-year bonds. You are locked in for 7 years. You cannot take it out before 7 years, except in certain conditions, based only on age. So for senior citizens, it is you can't come out before 4 years. For super senior, it goes like this. So if you don't need certain amount of money for, let's say, 7 years for sure, it is a very good, safe investment. We also do it. We give RBI bonds to our investors. Can we think about protection of capital in mutual funds by exiting now and entering later? Sanjeev Kohli is asking me. Nobody ever has been able to time the market. You get out now and you keep waiting for it to come down and it shoots up. Today, the markets are very, very difficult. Why difficult? I would like to say something here. Let me see. Just a minute. Just a minute. Sorry, I lost that. Just a minute, please. Fine. Okay. Sorry, I can't see the questions from chat. Yeah. Okay. I think it is 1:17, so it is well beyond the 1.5 hours. Take this as the last question. I'm receiving some privately that I need to close it. So I will close this with a view of the market right now, because this question. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Yeah. See, market is very difficult right now. Markets are not to guess. Why so? Because the reason why markets went down was because of the pandemic. Now, lots of people are asking me this question. Nothing has happened for coronavirus thing. The world is still getting infected, hugely infected. Even in the marquee country like US, the number of infection, the rate of infection hasn't come down at all. In India, it seems to be only increasing. Then why are markets going up? Please remember, it has nothing to do with economic circumstances right now. Nobody thinks that India will come out of this with no effect on economy at all. Economy is definitely going to be affected. However, this time it is the helicopter money which is working. What is the meaning of helicopter money? Helicopter money means all the central banks are showering money on the economy. I'll give you an example. In 2008, what happened? When 2008 crisis happened, markets went down drastically. The markets, they would have kept going down had Fed, that is the equivalent of RBI in US, had Fed not stepped in and opened its vaults. Fed started giving money to each and everybody. At every count, it gave it said, we have no problem. We are the United States. We can print unlimited amount of money. The moment Fed started doing this, it started going up because everybody was sure that the government will support us, the Federal Bank, the Federal Reserve will support us, and there will be money for everybody. Do you know that almost everybody in US has received $1,200 in their bank account without asking? So this is how Fed is doing. The government has told the businesses there, if you don't lay off people, we are giving you this much of grant, and grant could run into millions. So grant, but if you start laying off people, then it doesn't remain grant, it becomes a loan, of course, interest-free loans. So it is this kind of money which is helping markets go up. So nobody knows, since this is artificially propped up market, you don't know when will it fall. Will it fall at all or will it not fall? Hence, please don't take a chance on the market. Please go by the ear, the way you see it. Will the market fall again? I think it will, but I don't know. I don't control it. Finally, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. It's already late. Lots of people are privately sending me, sir, please close it. It is well beyond the 1.5 hours you said, but we'll have plenty of webinars. I'm very much enthused by the response that has come in this webinar. Hence, I think there is a lot of demand for this kind of information. I'll keep holding it. Thanks a lot. I hope you all enjoyed and learned a lot. Please give me feedback either by going on www.humfauji.in/seminar or sending a mail or something like that on office@humfauji.in, or more importantly on contact us at humfauji.in. We will be taking your suggestions. My WhatsApp number is 99999999 022 033. Thank you very much. I close this webinar now.